Hi, I'm Dick Cavett. My guests tonight are Gore Vidal, Maureen Stapleton, Ron Liebman, and author of Cover Up, Seymour Hersh. Join us.
Watch 30 minutes from now here on ABC.
In Vietnam, American B-52 bombers made their deepest flights of the war over the north today. The Los Angeles School Board tonight decided that it's going to have to cut nearly $40 million in salaries and services in the next fiscal year. And the Academy Awards. John Schubeck will have a special report.
In 1930, Pan Am opened Latin America to air travel. In 35, we opened the Pacific. In 39, the Atlantic. In 47, we made the first passenger flight ever to circle the globe. Someone else might have done all this, but they didn't. It's what makes Pan Am the world's most experienced airline.
The concept of the Chrysler has never changed. It's been an automobile that provided you with maximum comfort and a precise, responsive alliance with the road. It's been an automobile built with integrity to last. And with this Chrysler, it's an automobile almost anyone can afford. The 1972 Newport Royal.
Tuesday at 6:30, George Maharis tracks a dangerous course in The Sated Bug on the 6:30 movie.
On Channel 7 KABC-TV, Los Angeles.
Good evening, I'm Joseph Benti, and this is Channel 7's Eyewitness News. The biggest single action of the Vietnam War today was over the second major port city in the north, Vinh. 8 B-52 bombers, each capable of carrying about 35 tons of bombs, raided the coastal town, 145 miles north of the demilitarized zone. The raid was significant because it is believed to have been the way President Nixon was showing the North that the United States still had power in Vietnam. It was the farthest the big bombers ever went north in the entire war, and it was their first raid of the North in 4 years. The raid was unusual for another reason. The big bombers cannot fly out of range of Soviet-made ground-to-air missiles, and so it was a calculated risk. None of the bombers was damaged. On the ground, action shifts from one major battlefield to a second. Quiet yesterday, the area around Quang Tri tonight is reported to be the scene of increasing action, and the Saigon military claims to have scored some major victories there. To the south, about 70 miles northwest of Saigon, there was heavier action reported earlier around the town of An Loc. Andrew Pearson reports.
Planes arrived to bomb and strafe in the forest on both sides of the highway. Airstrikes continue. Firing from the North Vietnamese force diminishes. They could be pulling back, but more likely just ducking into their trenches. More airstrikes come in. This time, the American piloted Cobra gunships fire rockets and machine guns into the forest just ahead. A few hundred yards to the rear, the American advisor coordinates with the pilots who wait their turn at the bombing run. Gradually, the North Vietnamese rifle and mortar fire subsides, and there's time to take the wounded and dead away. The artillery begins when the bombers leave to rearm. The column of South Vietnamese soldiers is stalled for the moment. And you wonder how it is with the soldiers up ahead surrounded in An Loc and how many more ambushes there are between us and them.
At about the time correspondent Pearson filed that report, government troops pulled out of the town of Bo Duc near Saigon, and near Saigon, a single enemy guerrilla penetrated a major government ammunition supply dump, setting off an explosion that destroyed at least a quarter of that ammunition dump. A late report from United Press International claims that hundreds of American infantrymen are being airlifted 400 miles north of Saigon to help defend a U.S. base at Phu Bai and a Navy radar station near Hue. There was also movement of Navy vessels from the west coast today. 7 destroyers and a guided missile frigate left ports at San Diego and Long Beach for a rendezvous at sea with the aircraft carrier Midway. The Midway left its port in San Francisco. The Navy will not confirm reports that the fleet is headed for duty in the Gulf of Tonkin off the coast of North Vietnam. The Midway has been in and out of the war zone consistently since 1965. In Londonderry, Northern Ireland, the commander of a British Army patrol and his second-in-command were killed when a bomb exploded as the patrol was being stoned by a group of young boys in the Roman Catholic district of that town. The outlawed Irish Republican Army took credit for the bombing incident. Republican Congressman Bob Wilson of San Diego told the Senate Judiciary Committee today that there definitely was a $400,000 pledge from IT&T to the Republican National Convention. But Wilson said that pledge later was lowered to $200,000. Wilson testified the pledge had nothing to do with the government antitrust settlement in favor of IT&T. Police in San Diego are preparing for what might be called two conventions that are coming there this summer: the Republican National Convention inside the city's convention center and an expected convention of protesters outside.
All that preparation revolves around what has become one of America's greatest political spectacles.